What's going on YouTube? Middle school math man here. We have a video for you on slope-intercept form. So as you can tell, my slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So pretty straightforward. In this equation, m is slope and b is going to be our y-intercept. So there are two types of problems in this video I'm going to go over. The first 6 problems, I give you a graph and you give me the equation. The next 6, I'm going to give you the equation and then you do the graph. So in number 1, slope is going to be rise over run. So in this problem, I'm giving you the 2 points, so I'm going to rise 3 and I'm going to run 1. So my slope is 3 over 1, which is the same thing as 3. My y-intercept is down there. It's where it crosses the y-axis, and that's at -3. So now that I found my slope and my y-intercept, I'm just going to plug in for m and b. So we're going to get y equals 3x minus 3, or you could have y equals 3x plus -3. Same thing. So number 2, I'm going to rise 3, and I'm running to the left, so -2. So that slope is going to be -3 over 2. My y-intercept is right there at +2. So now I have the information I need to make my equation. So at this point in the video, if you want to pause it and try the next 4 on your own, I suggest that. And then when you're done, you can unpause it and check your answers. So in number 3, to find my slope, I'm going to rise 4 and run 4. So 4 over 4 is just 1. And my y-intercept is going to be at -3. So my equation is y equals 1x minus 3. Or you could just put y equals x minus 3 or y equals x plus -3. Those are all the same thing. In number 4, I'm rising 2 and running 1, which is just 2. And my y-intercept is up there at 1, 2, 3, 4. So my equation is y equals 2x plus 4. Moving on to number 5, I have a negative slope. So I'm rising 2 and running to the left 2. And -2 over 2 is -1. Up at that point is my y-intercept at 1. So my equation is y equals -1x plus 1. Moving on to number 6, I am rising 1 and running 2. So my slope, rise over run, is 1 over 2. And my y-intercept is down there, which is at -1, 2, 3, 4. So my equation is y equals 1/2 x minus 4. So pretty straightforward. Given a graph, again, you just find the slope using rise over run, and then you just see where it crosses the y-axis. These next problems, I'm giving you the equation, and then you need to graph it. So first, we're going to put a point on the y-intercept. In that equation, you already have 1 point. You know where it crosses the y-axis, so that's going to be your starting point. And then second, you're going to use the slope to make more points. At the end, we'll connect them to make a line. So looking at number 1, my y-intercept is -4, so I'm going to put a point at -4. And then my slope is 3. So if it helps you to put a 1 underneath the 3 so you can see rise over run, you can do that. So I'm going to rise 3 and run 1. You only need 2 points to make a line, but you could, continue to make points if you would like, just using your slope. So once you have at least 2 points, you can go ahead and make your line. Looking at the second problem, I have a y-intercept of 2. And then my slope is 2 over 5, so I'm going to rise 2 and run 5. 2 points make a line, or you could continue to make some more points if you would like. So just like we did earlier, if you would like to pause the video right now and try the next 4 on your own, you can go ahead and do that. All right, number 3. So the y-intercept is 1, so I'm going to put a point at 1. And this has a negative slope, so be careful. Your slope needs to be negative. Your line has to have a negative slope. So I'm going to rise 3 and run to the left 4. I could continue to make some more points if I wanted. And then we're just going to connect them to make a line. Number 4, I give you a y-intercept of 4, so let's put a point there. Negative 2 slope means I'm going to rise 2 and run 1. Once I have a couple points, I can go ahead and make my line. So number 5, my my y-intercept is negative 3. And my slope is negative x. Negative x is negative 1x. So again, I need to have a negative slope. And I'm just going to go ahead and make my line. One more example, number 6. Notice how it doesn't have a y-intercept. It's just y equals 4x. You could think of it as y equals 4x plus 0 if you'd like. So when there's no y-intercept, it's just 0, which is at the origin. So you can put your point right at the origin. And then we're going to use our slope. We're going to rise 4 and run 1. And we have a line, given that equation. So that is it for the video on slope-intercept form. Again, we went over 2 different types of problems. I gave you the graph, then you found the slope and the y-intercept and wrote the equation. Or I gave you the equation, and then you took the y-intercept, made a point, then used the slope to make more points. Again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept.